Right, I've been working on this for a bit. I'm right by a busy road here. Taken all the panels off. Right, so from the front point of view, it's not actually too bad salt-wise. You can see a thin film of sand over everything, so that means there's salt with it. I mean, it's been pretty well protected by the body. You remember between these two and down here behind the spring there's a plate which stops a lot of it coming into the car. The only bits, this wasn't painted unfortunately, see that's rusted like instantly, and then odd places like the top of that bolt, but yeah, it's not too awful. So it's worth taking the panels off though, because like with the early Land Rovers, you had an aluminium body on a steel frame, you'd get corrosion between the two different metals anyway. So next time I visit, I'm going to jack it up and take the under panels off as well, but there they all are. So the back again, I mean the engine bay is, because I haven't got many vents basically, it's remarkably clean in terms of sand and salt, so that's good. The back centre again, it's not bad at all. I mean, if you compare these pipes, which is how they were, with these, which seems to have instantly flash corroded, so they were probably, God knows where I bought them from, but maybe they're not the best quality pipe, I don't know. Again, the end of that bolt, just weird stuff like that. So I forgot to bring a brush, but I need to give it a good brush, get a vacuum cleaner with a brush tip on it maybe, and then I'm going to spray everything with WD-40. But the other reason I'm here today is, although the engine didn't get much above 100 degrees, we think, so that's screwed into the cylinder head, so it probably is a head temperature, which is good. There's still the possibility when you've got rapidly expanding steam that you can crack your block. Now I'll show you the oil. The oil doesn't look too bad. We haven't lost any, and it's not full of things it shouldn't be full of. So because I've welded a tube right in the way of it, you probably can't see, but try and get it out. I don't know if I'm trying to get you to see. It's about half full. It's halfway between low and full, and look, it still looks like fresh oil. I could taste it like Derribieri does, but I'm not going to. But anyway, there doesn't seem to be anything grossly terrible mixed with the oil, so that's a good start. So next thing is to fill it with not just distilled water, but corrosion inhibitor, because this is going to be sat now for a few months, no matter what happens. So we need to try and stop rust in the engine, which is why I'm not just leaving it full of air and residual water, because that's probably a really bad idea. So I'm going to put some water in and see if it just leaks out onto the floor, and then if it doesn't, I'll fill it up. Now these engines take quite a lot of water. I haven't got the exact figure, but it's, well, with the rad that is, it's something like 20 odd litres altogether. So let's pour a bit in and see what happens. So I've filled up my little water filling contraption, so when I pull this out it'll dribble in. So do you want to take bets whether it's going to come out of the bottom of the car? I better just check no hoses are visibly popped off. Well, nothing there. Nothing at the top. I'm just squeezing this hose to make sure the thermostat hasn't moved. Not feeling anything. Shouldn't be there. Ooh. Okay, guys. Actually, this probably protected the engine. This probably was a good thing. We have a hose off. There's no actual lip on this, so I'm not really sure how it's supposed to go on apart from just a really tight cable tie. That's why it was just spewing out the top. Right, now we understand. That's probably good because it released the pressure quickly. Well. Small delay now while I fix that. Right, so I've done both hoses back together. I've taken the thermostats, you can see them on the floor down there. See those? I've taken them out because getting up to temperature seems to be the least of my worries. If I go for a water tank with a water heat exchanger, I can always have an electric water pump that kind of kicks in when you get up above a certain temperature. That might be a better way to do it, rather than have a mechanical thermostat, which probably is, as I said, probably not what I want actually. So, hoses back together, let's put some water in and see what happens. So I've no idea if it's completely empty or just nearly empty, do you know what I mean? Let's just see if anything terrible's going on. It's not obvious. If there was, it would get a bit wet down there, so, or the other side. No, not too bad. There's one advantage of making your car out of aluminium. If it all gets sopping wet down at the bottom there, it won't rust as long as I can keep it off the steel parts, the frame. Okay, I'm going to just keep chucking in water then until we're full and antifreeze. Blue this time, just the cheapest standard antifreeze. It lasts 2 years and it's probably going to be dumped all over the floor anyway when I change the whole plumbing system in the next few months. Right, I've filled it out. I'm just waiting to see if it's going down, but it's not, which is good. So I may do a quick engine test now. Okay, so power's on. Take the filter off because I think that might be why we're getting the high tick over. And I'll just start it with the tiniest bit of choke because it's actually pretty warm anyway at the moment. So power, ignition. Okay, don't know what happened there. Hey, fan works. Okay, let's give it a little go, see if it coughs, shall we? Here we go. Just see if there's any fuel coming. Not sure if there's much fuel there. That's what it is. Right, I thought the high speed tickover that we had all the way through the race was due to some kind of restriction from the air filter, but you see when I put the filter on, it makes no difference. I blip the throttle. When the throttle comes back, it seems to come back all the way, but I was able to push it a little bit more. So that's what the problem is. Basically, I need a bloody great spring from here to something convenient here on the alternator or something, just to make sure it definitely comes back. Because that was part of my problem. My tickover should have been a few hundred RPM, and in fact it was running at like 1800. There's no steam coming out of the exhaust. It sounds alright, there's no horrible crunching noises. There's no water leaking out of the bottom. It's a tiny drop of oil from the gearbox. So I'm reasonably happy to get out here, breathe some fresh air, but I'm reasonably happy with that. So you know, I'm not just wasting my time and money if I upgrade the shocks, change the cooling, that kind of thing. So I'm going to spray it all with WD-40, and then that's it for today. Have a think and come back. I'm in the storage unit, and I brought a few creature comforts, like a little bench. The panels are all off. Well, the top panels. And the other thing is, I left a couple of these in here. These chemical dehumidifiers, and there's not a single drop of water in it. Which is good, because although it's quite warm in here, it's clearly not wet, it's not damp, and that oily stain there is just that, it's oily, it's not water. So the previous guy in here was doing fiberglassing work, so what looks like damp might not be damp, which is good. So today's job, right by a main busy road here. So you see, it's not gone rusty. It's no rustier than when I left it. It's just the same, in fact. So that's good. This container slopes slightly, so using what is actually turned out to be quite a useful tool, the plumb bob, I've jacked it up. Put it on axle stands, but you can see I've propped the axle stands so they're actually vertical again. So the radiator is all freed up now. I just need to drain it, disconnect 4 pipes, and it should come out. So, do you remember I did this last time? So I'm going to drain up into the supermarket. Got one of these. I'm going to drain all the water out of the radiator and probably most of the engine, because plan is to take out the radiator, see how much space we've got for the water tank. So step one, get the radiator out. I took the seat out, that allowed me to reach the battery. Took the battery out, that allowed me to get a spanner on the back end of the nuts that held the crossbar on. Do you remember there was a crossbar down here, like a shape like that, which held the bottom of the radiator? So of course it was really hard to reach the nuts and bolts there, so that needed to come out. So that's come out now, so I've got a clear space here now to fit my water tank. What I'm thinking of is having a water tank here, and then under the water tank having a thing like a long thin oil cooler slash transmission cooler, and it will go, I don't know if you can get in close enough, it'll go across here with 2 electric fans on it. So I'll be able to, and there'll be a water pump, so I can pump water through the tank, through the little mini radiator, and take heat out of it and blow it out the bottom of the car when it's parked, as an option, if I just turn and flick a switch. And if I don't want to use it, it doesn't matter. So it's like a slow cooling system for the water tank. The alternative is to just take some of the water out and replace it with fresh. Could just siphon it out, I suppose, into one of these, something like that. So I'm just kind of thinking of options, really. So here are my hoses. Going to go there, there, and then across to the top here on the other side. So I've got to get a volume of 15 gallons total. There's about 2 gallons in the engine. Jamie's got a 13-gallon tank, I think. I might go just a bit bigger than that, just because I'm like super cautious. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is make a cardboard template now, cardboard AD design. See what options are in terms of water tank, and then I can work out how deep it needs to be to get the volume. Right, so there's my rough tank concept, and I marked where it meets the rails at the bottom, and I've marked where it meets the air duct under there. So I'm back, I've had a little rest, I've got the t-shirt. I visited the car a few times, and I've made a model water tank, you see here. There we are. So this bit, this area here, is where the mini radiator might go. I've been doing my maths, as you can see, and basically this has a volume of about 12 gallons. There's another 2.5 gallons in the engine itself, so we're pushing 15. I'd like to squeeze another gallon or two into this, so this isn't the final version. I can bring it up a little bit more here and a little bit more out at the sides, but so I'm probably get another gallon in, so there will be a version 2 of this, and then the plan will be to make this in, I don't know whether to use steel or aluminium yet. I'll have to think about it. I'll probably try aluminium actually. I've got a whole year to do it, let's be honest. So there you go, that's where it's at right now.